Hello friends, how are you all doing? My name is Shaz, short for Scheherazade, and I love colorful makeup. Today we're going to do another to buy or not to buy video. In these videos, I talk about new eyeshadow and makeup that has been released, announced, or sneak peeked, and I tell you my opinion on them and whether I'm intending to pick them up. Also at the same time, I'm going to do this eye look with Serenity palette from Cosmic Brushes. I feel like everybody knows this palette by now. I have a dedicated review on this palette in this channel that I would link it for you, as well as incorporating into my look some singles that I recently purchased from the Polish brand Glam Shop. If all of that sounds interesting to you, let's jump into the video. But before we do that, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Now let's go. I did a video update when I was in Berlin. I have not had a chance to edit it. I'm probably gonna edit this before that. I did some purchases from Glam Shop that I have available here. We're gonna use some of this today because something is coming out from Glam Shop that we're gonna be talking about. Actually, there's a couple of things from Glam Shop that we're gonna be talking about. I'm also gonna use a little bit of Serenity palette, everybody's favorite palette of the year, because there is something coming out from Cosmic Brushes, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. And I was not actually planning on doing this, but there is so much that has come out that I figured that if I want to wait, next week's video is going to be 5 hours. Because I've been thinking about doing a dedicated video about the deals for Thanksgiving week or Black Friday week. Let me know if you're interested in that. As I said, this video is going to be long, so feel free to grab a snack, tea, wine, coffee, I don't know, dinner, because I don't know how many hours this is going to take. But let's get started. Let's first talk about restocks. Folks, Glaminatrix is restocking. So the 4 palettes that they had, Beauty, Nocturnal, Glamorous, and the natural one, and Nearly Neutral, are restocking the Saturday before Thanksgiving, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want any of these palettes, set an alarm. That's the time to pick it up. I think they said they're going to be in limited stock. I highly recommend Glaminatrix as a brand. I might pick up Beauty. There's a lot of stuff I want to pick up, and we're going to get to that. I have swatched some of the colors from Beauty in my last to buy or not to buy video. So if you want to see Good Day or the other one, I forget the name, the iridescent shimmer, you can check out that video. Adept has the second pre-order for the Minka palette. You can go do the second pre-order now. BH Cosmetics has restocked their Doja Cat 30-something pan palette. This palette came out, I think, around the same time last year. I haven't heard the best of things about the quality of the palette, but if this is your color story and you missed out on picking it up, it seems to be available. Also, BH Cosmetics seems to have a bunch of sales and deals on their website going on, so maybe you can get some money off. It seems that Menajerie Cosmetics, folks, has redesigned their Killer Purr eyeshadow palette, and it's going to stock, or maybe restock, on the 25th of November. It's $45. You can go on their website and sign up to be sent a reminder when this is available. It seems to me that they've swapped out some of the neutrally colors for vibrant shimmers. Folks, I really like this redesign. I don't own anything by Menajerie Cosmetics. The redesign reminds me of the Fall Magic palette by Unearthly Cosmetics, and friends, I have been debating whether I should pick that palette up. The thing is, when you are doing these kinds of review videos and when you have a channel, it doesn't really make sense to go pick up an older palette. The older the palette, the more little sense it makes for you to pick it up. So if a palette is from more than a year ago, it just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of videos available out there, and it just doesn't make any sense for you to go pick it up. But this redesign, it looks very similar to that palette, so I can kind of pick this up instead of that palette which is making me excited. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you own the old palette? What are you thinking about this redesign? Another thing I do want to also mention, because I just mentioned it doesn't make sense to do videos about older palettes. You might see some videos on my channel about palettes that came out earlier this year. Frankly, friends, it's actually less because I'm trying to review older palettes and more because I've videoed these palettes quite a while ago and I've just not had a chance to edit them. There is going to be a review on my channel coming out for the Primal palette, for example. I purchased that palette the week after it came out, and I received it early August, and it was one of the first videos that I made. I was less experienced in editing and just being in front of the camera and so on. I think I have like 3 hours of footage. That much footage is going to take a long time to go through. Like, there was a lot of editing needed. Spellbound Beauty's Cult palette is back in stock. If that was a palette you're interested in, check it out. Spellbound Beauty is available on Etsy, and they have very reasonable prices. I think the palette is $20. I know Annette's Makeup Corner did a review of their Witchcraft palette and she gave it fantastic reviews. Unfortunately, that palette at the moment isn't available and I'm not sure if it's coming back, but I've definitely thought about picking that palette up. There was a lot of things that I'm kind of eyeing and planning on purchasing for the holiday season, so it's a matter of budget, but just letting you all know if this is interesting for you. I also saw another palette by them, the Oracle palette. I don't know if this is a new palette or this is an old palette of theirs. On Etsy it says this is a bestseller, so maybe this is an older palette, but it's in stock on Etsy. So Cosmic Brushes has said that they want to restock Serenity, this one, and they are aware that a lot of the people who want to order this palette are not in the same time zone as UK, which is where Cosmic Brushes is located, and they have asked on their Instagram what time is a better time for them to launch if you're still interested in picking this palette up. Notoriously Morbid, folks, has relaunched pretty much everything they had in stock. On top of the photo that I've put on the screen, I also received a note from them that they have restocked their Rusted Essence palette, which was a palette that I really wanted back when it came out in like end of August, early September. Now, folks, so much has come out since then that I have decided I don't need this palette and I've kind of moved on. Friends, I had to cut out this part from later in the video because I realized a couple of things that I forgot to talk about. And I talked about them later, but I want to put it in the restocks because these are about restocks. The first thing is that Strange and Unusual palette is back. Yes, folks, the palette I've been waiting for. And one of you has wrote to me and told me that it's back. And thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much for letting me know this palette is back. So they have opened it for third or fourth pre-order. If you wanted this palette and you forgot to pick it up, now is your chance. I'm gonna pick this up. Although they're Halloween themed, I'm probably gonna still do a video on them when I receive them. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that Clionadh Cosmetics is bringing back their round pans. I don't know if you all remember, so most people know Clionadh Cosmetics for their fantastic multichromes. However, Clionadh Cosmetics used to have duochromes and mattes. Now, they have not restocked their website with duochromes and mattes. I think the mattes were gone 2 years ago. Their duochromes restocked last Black Friday and they had them in different bundles, and you could also purchase them in singles, which I did plenty of, but they have not had the mattes come back in a while. I actually don't know if they're bringing back the mattes this time, but they are going to be bringing them back for Black Friday, and they announced it on their Instagram. So definitely stay tuned for that. I have a lot of their duochromes, as I mentioned. I think I have like 40 of their duochromes, if not more, and they are fantastic quality, obviously, because it's Clionadh. They have very, very high standards. So highly recommend that. Maybe when I'm back in the US, I can do a swatch video if you're interested, to just show you what I have to help you figure out if you would like to purchase any of them when they become available during Black Friday. Let me know down below if you would be interested in that. I think that's it for the restocks. Cosmic Brushes has a new brush set coming out. It has 7 brushes, it's vegan, cruelty-free, all that good stuff. They haven't announced when it's coming out. Folks, don't forget to use people's code for these things. Again, I've always said this. Use someone's code. don't pay full price for any of these items. Friends, I'm using Glamlight's icing for primer. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this one. I talked about it last time in my last to buy or not to buy, but back then it wasn't fully announced. It was just partially peaked. It's one of those things because I've actually never seen a rainbow palette have neutral colors in it. So I definitely thought twice about this. I was like, those neutral grays, I don't own anything. And it's not an expensive palette. It's only, I think, $40. Well, 42 pounds. And I think pound is almost equal to the dollar right now because dollar is pretty strong. But friends, I came to my senses and I remembered that I definitely don't need another rainbow palette. And the brush set is 130 British pounds. I mean, it's a beautiful brush set and I love the red handles, but 130 British pounds? Also, there's probably going to be a lot of face brushes. I don't need face brushes. I don't really do a whole lot to my face and I have plenty of face brushes. This is already available. It launched November 3rd. I'm going into this green called Sorbet very quickly. Okay, friends, the next thing that we're going to talk about is this thing called Haunted Pumpkin coming from Give Me Glow. This is going to be $45 and available on Black Friday. It's a little late to release a pumpkin themed palette a month after Halloween, but hey, I love pumpkins and I love Halloween all year long. So I would be interested in something like this. It's just that it's mostly neutrals. I mean, take out the teal colors and it's mostly neutrals. And I don't need neutrals at this point. So moving on. The next things I want to talk about are from Sugar Drizzle. So Sugar Drizzle is having a ball. Friends, they're having releases coming out left and right. First thing is this one coming out on Black Friday. And I think if I remember correctly on their Instagram, they said there's going to be like a goodie for whoever orders in the pre-order or something. I might be misremembering this, so don't quote me on that. Go and check it out on their Instagram account. This is my kind of palette, folks. I'm picking this up. Folks, I've mentioned this in the past. Sugar Drizzle is a fantastic brand at a very, very, very great price. The only thing that I'm kind of wondering is that those two bronzy shimmers look a little too similar. Did this palette need both? I need to look at the swatches, but I already know that I would be very interested in picking this up. You know, those jewel tone mattes, and Sugar Drizzle has great matte quality. I've mentioned in the past that if you don't have multichromes, they have multiple 9-pan palettes that have 1 or 2 multichromes in them, and I highly recommend them as an introduction palette for being introduced to multichromes. Which makes me think I should probably do a video sort of dedicated to talking about my Sugar Drizzle palettes. Would you want to watch that kind of video? Do let me know down below because I already have like 4 or so of their palettes. Moving on to the next thing they're releasing, friends, they're releasing an all glitter palette. I don't know when it's coming out. I think it's a limited edition palette just for them to see if people are interested in all glitter palettes. I'm not an all glitter type of a person. I don't even use glitters. So not for me, but it's a beautiful palette. And another thing they're coming out with is a highlighter palette. They have swatches and everything available on their Instagram if you're interested in it. I think the highlighter palette is coming out on the 25th of November and it is $40. I don't need highlighters. I have plenty of highlighters. So not for me. I also have a lot of iridescent multichrome eyeshadows from expensive brands that I first need to go through before buying anything else. I'm now going to go into Pixie with a packing brush and I'm going to put it across my lid. Friends, the next thing I want to talk about is these things. I thought we were kind of done with the whole monochrome craze. I kind of feel like these are coming out a little late. On top of that, plastic packaging, I don't know. They look very cheap and they are $15 each or $42 for all. I'm not excited about the colors. I already have these two, so green and yellow, on top of having a bunch of monochrome palettes from ColourPop that I purchased back in 2019 when the whole monochrome craze started. So moving on, because there was a lot of other stuff to go through. Another thing is I'm just not excited about plastic packaging, folks. They do look very cheap. That same year, Revolution Beauty released something that looked identical to these. I mean, they just don't look high quality to me. Micka Beauty Shop is coming out with like a bunch of things. First one is what I talked about in my last to buy or not to buy, which was the Glacier palette. Now we actually have an image of the actual palette. It has 15 shades, 8 mattes, and 7 shimmers duochromes. I've seen the swatches, folks, and this is my color story. I want this palette. It is a little pricey. It's $56-ish. I think the brand is English, so the price is an approximation, but I love the color story. And if the mattes are good quality, maybe I'll pick this up. Hopefully I can use someone's code and get some money off. This is releasing tomorrow on the 13th of November, tomorrow from the date I'm filming. And separate from this, they have the Blooming palette, which I think is just 15 mattes, jewel tone mattes. And that palette is much cheaper. That palette is just $30. Maybe those shimmers are expensive because of the quality. I like both of these palettes, although this is coming from Europe, so the cost of shipping is probably high. The irony is I'm here right now. Is there a way I can just order this express? Folks, I also went on Micka Beauty because I'd never heard of this, and I'm starting to feel like this is going to be a second Cosmic brushes. And it seems like they've had some releases in the past, and even those were pretty interesting. If these kinds of colors are your thing, if you like colorful eyeshadows, go on their website and check it out. If you're interested in me reviewing it, definitely let me know. I'm already kind of sold. I'm finding an excuse to buy one of these. Okay, friends, the next thing on my list is Kylie and Wizard of Oz. I have a very long list, and I don't think there is a whole lot to say about this. The only thing that caught my eye about this release is the brushes. I've mentioned Kylie's releases seem so random, and I cannot find the logic between Kylie and the themes. I don't follow the Kardashians or anything, so moving on. Okay, so these two releases, both of these are by Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. The All Matte palette is $45, 30 shades. I'm not in the market for yet another All Matte Neutral palette. We've had plenty of those, but that Vigorously palette is gorgeous. I feel like I talked about it in one of the first to buy or not to buys that I did. I don't know if it took them like 2 months to release this or if this was released in the past and now it's being restocked. Anyway, it's a little large for me. I've heard fantastic things about Playing in Makeup by Yolondo, and I love this palette. I love the outer packaging. I think it's gorgeous. It's $50 for 36 shades. I do feel the palette is a little redundant. You know, some of these colors are not going to look different on your eyes, but I do see a balance between dark and light colors, and I don't know, the colorfulness is very attractive to me. Although there's a lot of things coming out, so this is going to have to be in line with a bunch of other things that I'm interested in buying. Don't have too much time to talk about this one palette, so moving on. Nimai, which is Nikkie Tutorials' brand, is releasing a palette. I think this is their first eyeshadow release. Folks, this palette reminded me of that Glamlight palette in collaboration with Frosted Flakes that had the tiger on it. It's going to be 15 shades, 9 mattes, 6 shimmers. It's already available. It came out a couple of days ago, and I don't have a price, but you can go on the website and see how much it is. I'm not interested in picking this up. I like Nikkie Tutorials, but I don't follow her. Also, it's all neutrals, so I don't see myself using it. But congratulations to Nikkie for this release. The next thing we're going to talk about, I feel like came out a while ago, this news, is just I haven't done one of these videos, and that is the fact that ColourPop is now coming to Target. So they have a bunch of things being released. On this news, it says that this is going to happen on November 6th, which means it happened a week ago. There's going to be a combination of 9-pan palettes, some lip pencils and super shock shadows and eye pencils and things like that. This is good news for people who do not have access to shopping from ColourPop online, or they might not have an Ulta nearby. I don't have those kinds of issues. Nothing in this collection is something colorful that I would need. Also, a lot of this stuff looks like stuff ColourPop already released a while ago. So moving on, because we have another release from ColourPop, of course. So ColourPop collaborated with Marielle. I'm hoping I say her name correctly. Is it Marielle? Is she French? This collection looks cyber internet type inspired. It actually looks very similar to the Y2K collection that ColourPop released a year, 2 years ago. So it kind of gave the same vibes to me. The palette looks absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't think that I will have the money to purchase this, knowing I'm going to be buying a bunch of other things. There is going to be Super Shock Cheeks. That's one of my favorite ColourPop products. So those might be things that I pick up, not the eyeshadow palette. And folks, of course, I have my eyes on the lipsticks because that's just who I am. But I'm on a no-buy for lipsticks. There's going to be eyeliners. I haven't tried eyeliners from ColourPop, but I was actually very excited about these three because there's a plum, there is a blue, and there is a pink. And I was so excited about the combination of the three. So Black Friday is coming. Maybe there's going to be a sale. Maybe I end up buying some things. Yeah, so this collection has a lot of stuff in it. Unfortunately, I'm seeing the prices in Hungarian dollars because I'm in Budapest right now. So I can't tell you how much it is, but it's already available. You can go on the ColourPop website and look at it and or purchase it. Clarity Cosmetics is releasing a limited edition cotton candy multichrome bundle. There is 4 shades in this and it's already available. You can get some percentage off with people's codes, so don't forget that if you want to pick them up. Friends, these are gorgeous. The swatches definitely gave me the same vibes as the Fantasy 2.0 collection by Shine by SD. I have a review of that collection on my channel. I'll link it here if you're interested in watching it, which is also part of the reason why I didn't want to pick these up, because I don't want more or less kind of repetitions in my collection. I don't see a price for these, but they're available. Friends, I did add this to my list, but I just heard from Sydney Grace that this has sold out. It seems the singles are still available, so you can buy the singles separately. They did a bundle in memory of Mel Thompson. The bundle is called In Mel's Memory, and I think this is in collaboration with Mel's family, so they've asked Mel's family if they can do this and all of that. This became available a while ago, and it was gonna go until the middle of the month. I actually intended to purchase these, I just haven't had a chance because I was traveling. I didn't watch Mel's channel regularly. I watched a couple of her videos here and there, but I would definitely like to help the family. So for anybody who doesn't know, Mel passed away a year ago, I think maybe around the same time last year, and she had a collaboration with Sydney Grace, and I think this is a very nice gesture. And as someone who's in the community, I would have loved to help, and it seems like the singles are going to continue being available even after the 14th. It's just that they're going to be cheaper until the 14th. Okay, friends, the next thing we're going to talk about is Midnight Deseos palette from Translucent Beauty by Becky G. I don't have a price, but it's available. It has 18 shades. Friends, I'm a huge fan of Becky G's music. I love reggaeton. I like Becky G's personality also. She's very sassy, love it. Midnight Deseos means Midnight Desires. And I've swatched this brand in Ulta because it's available at some of the Ultas that I go to. I'm not sure if it's available at all Ultas. I've just swatched them on my hand. I haven't put them on my eyes, so I don't know if I can really comment too much on the quality, but the swatches seem pretty nice. However, as you can see, this palette is neutrals and I am looking for colors. And it also looks like it has a lot of repetitions. I feel like this palette could have been reduced to like maximum 12 pans. This collection is also going to have some eye brushes, eye pencils, lipsticks, as well as falsies. So if you're interested, definitely check them out. Friends, I'm now going to go into this color. It's called Mood, and I'm putting that color in my outer V area. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is a new release by MBA Cosmetics. We've talked about MBA Cosmetics plenty in this channel. Again, don't forget to use someone's code if you're interested in purchasing any of these. This palette is called A Bloom. It's 5 shimmers, 4 mattes, 9 pans, and it's $28, and it is coming out. It says it's coming soon. I don't have a date. I've been following MBA Cosmetics. They come out with a lot of colorful things. I do see an order from MBA Cosmetics in my future. I don't know if I'm that excited about these colors. I feel like I'm seeing the same colors in a lot of palettes recently. So maybe this palette isn't going to be it, but it's a beautiful palette. Folks, Pretties for Your Face has released monochromes. These are 5 shades, and they're available individually or as a set. I do not have a price. Again, don't forget to use someone's code to get some money off. These are gorgeous. Legend color at the top gives me the vibe of that color that I used from Clionadh last time in my last to buy or not to buy video, that had sort of a pink bronze to a lime green. Oh, I love that kind of a shift. This gives me the vibes between the new extension to the stained glass collection as well as the Fantasy 2.0 from Shine by SD. I definitely see a purchase from Pretties for Your Face in my future. So I don't know if this is going to be it, folks, but it's available if you're interested in picking anything from this collection. There are 6 pans coming out from Lisa Eldridge. I had heard about this brand. I had never seen them before, I feel. There are 5 pans that are coming out, and they're $68 each? Are these made of gold? I don't know, folks. I thought Natasha Denona was expensive. So I think that says it all about my opinion. Also, 3 of these palettes are neutrals, and the other 2 are also not that exciting. Moving on. Okay, folks, I briefly talked about this palette last time. I had just a photo that I had found online that was just horrible quality. Now they have released swatches and so on. This is the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette. I talked about this last time. I'm going to link that video here. I don't need to talk about the palette. It's not for me. But it's available if you want it. I'm pretty sure you can use someone's code to get some money off. It's $70. Did I talk about this last time? Angles of Illumination 2 from Bella Beaute Bar. I have heard fantastic things about this palette. I was not intending to do anything about this because, it's an all shimmer palette. I have plenty of all shimmer palettes. I'm at this point looking for a more balanced palette. I'm also looking for something that's a little different. So the palette is $70, which is part of the reason I was like, it is available. I'm also purchasing Strange and Unusual. I can just add this to cart. Maybe I can get some discount doing that. Maybe I don't have to pay for shipping. I actually don't even know. I also noticed their Angles of Illumination 2 is also available. I didn't even know these palettes existed, folks. Like, Bella Beaute Bar just mushroomed out of nowhere and now is releasing so many things and everybody's raving about them. I feel like I'm left out. I feel like this is like the next cosmic brushes and I just need to use some of these palettes, folks. Let me know what you're all thinking. Should I buy this? Should I? Okay, friends, as we all know, Kathleen Lights has a nail polish brand called Lights Lacquer, and she is releasing I think it's called Cocktail Hour Polish Collection, the matte and the shimmer greens. I love the colors. I actually don't have them right now. I usually do press-ons. It's actually shocking that I don't have press-ons now. I brought some with me. I just haven't had a chance to put them on. That's part of the reason why I don't usually buy nail polishes, because I also have a very extensive nail polish collection that is kind of just sitting there and drying up. They're $74 for the bundle of 6 plus some jewels that you can put on your nails, or $11 each. Saints, Angels, and Sinners, it's a brand sold on Etsy that I've talked about a couple of times in the past, is coming out with, I think they're called Elements Baby or something, collection for each of the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water. They're gonna have 2 palettes of 6 pans each. One is going to be all mattes, one is going to be all shimmers. You can also buy all of them in a bundle. Let me see if I have a price for the bundle. They're all available for purchase, and I think these are sort of pre-purchase or pre-orders. She pretty much always has 30% off. So the bundle at the moment with 30% off is $137. I have eyed these. Some of these are gorgeous, particularly the jewel tone mattes. I have some palettes by Saints, Angels, and Sinners, and I can vouch that they're pretty good quality. Most of the stuff I use from them have had good quality. I'll see how my budgeting goes, but I'm very intrigued and I might pick something up from this collection. I think I also mentioned before, they also have a bunch of other things coming out for Christmas that I've already put an order for. Maybe I'll receive those soon. And if I do, I'm going to put a video up. Jeffree Star is coming out with Psychedelic Circus collection. It's going to have a very colorful palette. There's going to be a Magic Star Mushroom Mist, Frozen Forest Lip Balm, 7 Psychedelic Circus Velour Liquid Lipstick, and Liquid Star Shadows. I think these are also 7, yes. And if you want, you can buy the whole collection for $315. I don't have a release date. It might already be available, so you can check out the Jeffree Star website. The palette kind of reminded me of his other palette, other colorful palette. What was the name? Jawbreaker, that came out, I think, in 2018. And I think he has already sort of phased it out and it's no longer available for purchase. Is this adding value to the collection, or is this just the same palette repackaged so that they can hype it up and sell some stuff? Brands do that sometimes. However, the lip releases are interesting because I haven't seen those kinds of colors released for lip collections frequently. Similarly with the liquid eyeshadows. I'm at this point in time not planning on purchasing anything from Jeffree Star. At this point, I'm looking for something very different. Friends, I talk about this at the beginning. Glam Shop had a release. There's 3 9-pan palettes that have coffee shades in them, and I think they're already available for purchase. So if this is something you're interested in, you can check out their website. They also have an advent calendar that I think if you purchase is going to go out on the 17th. Oh, folks, it seems like you only have until the 15th to order this advent calendar. So just letting you know, and it's going to ship out on the 17th. I wanted to purchase this advent calendar when I was putting my order with Glam Shop before leaving. It's just that I don't have room in my carry-on because I was just traveling with a carry-on. I love traveling light. I ended up opting out of this, but I've realized traveling around that in Europe, advent calendars are huge. We are not that big on advent calendars in the US, right? So I've been seeing them everywhere, but yeah, I thought about this, and if you're interested, you have until the 15th to put an order for it. Gloss Gods has a mystery bundle, folks. I don't have the price in US dollars. It's available on their website. You can go look. You can also put some special requests in the bundle to say, you know, you're a light skin toned or a dark skin toned and what products you have from before, and they will try to accommodate your needs. So if you have like certain palettes, they will try to accommodate and not send you what you have, which I thought is fantastic. Folks, I have a video with Unearthly Cosmetics' mystery bundle. And I also put an order with Glaminatrix for a mystery bundle, and I know it's on its way to me because I received the shipping confirmation, and I'm so excited about receiving it when I'm back. And I love mystery bundles, particularly when you kind of know you're not going to get things you already own or things that are just old and the brand is trying to get rid of. So I don't know, maybe I'll put an order. I have some reviews from Gloss Gods. On my channel, I have at least 2 of their palettes, Dancing in the Sky and Gal on Mars, reviewed. And we were talking about monochromes palettes when I talked about Kimchichic, right? It's interesting because those 2 palettes are also a new take on monochrome. So Gal on Mars is pretty much a monochrome pink palette, and Dancing in the Sky can be considered a monochrome green palette. And honestly, when I'm thinking about monochrome palettes in 2023, those are the type of monochrome palettes I would be looking for. I said all of that to say it's a fantastic brand. Don't sleep on it. Only issue that I understand is shipping is usually expensive because it's coming from Europe, but quality is there and you're going to get some very special things. Particularly if you don't own anything by them, I would consider the mystery bundle. I would love to have the vintage glam palette, the pink one. Folks, there's two things I want to super quickly talk about. Kaleidos is now releasing contour stuff. It seems like they had some stuff before. I didn't even know that. I don't really contour my face. I've heard good things about these, and it seems like they've added new options. So if this was something you were looking for, they're available. They will become available tomorrow, November 14th at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on kaleidosmakeup.com, and they're $25 each. It seems like Nabla is releasing a whole lot of lipsticks, and I had to talk about this, folks, because I can't stop looking at lipsticks. And they are now having 10 iconic and adaptable shades. I don't know what adaptable shades means, but they are $19-ish each. Price is an approximation because I think the original price is in euros. Nabla's Italian, right? I think so. They are available already. So if you're interested, check them out. I'm on a no-buy with lip stuff. Okay, folks, I saw this and this is exciting. Clarity Cosmetics is going to release a croc palette. It's going to be available Black Friday. I have a feeling this is going to be a very like sleek, neutrally type of palette. I haven't seen any form of a sneak peek to this beyond this. If you have, tag me on it, please. Also, feel free to tag me on Instagram on anything you want me to review in future videos. This palette's gonna have 10 shades, 5 mattes, 5 shimmers. Folks, again, don't forget to use someone's code. And also, folks, another thing about Clarity Cosmetics, I just heard within this past week that they restocked the Apocalypse palette, which again went out of stock. And I thought the last time they restocked, they said this is going to be the last restock and this palette's going to be gone forever. Did I imagine that? Or are they just going to keep restocking the palette? Because I'm a little bit confused when palettes say things are limited edition and they just keep coming back. Dominique Cosmetics is releasing a palette called Essentials. It's fair, everybody needs nudes in their collection, but plastic packaging does look cheap. So all neutral colors, obviously not my thing. I'm quickly doing my lower lid with the same color and the same brush as this outer V area. Folks, I saw this from Glisten Cosmetics. This is their Artist's Palette Volume 2. I think they had another palette, probably Volume 1. I have seen a lot of ads from Glisten Cosmetics on Instagram. It seems like they're known for their colorful cake liners. This palette has 7 singles and 2 split pans. I love the color story. I don't know if I'm going to purchase anything. It should already be available. It came available yesterday on the 11th. Again, don't forget to use someone's code. I can't say that enough. I feel like a colorful cake liner palette is in my future. Unearthly Cosmetics has revealed 2 palettes that are going to be available on the 17th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Dead of Night palette and Daily Grind palette. Daily Grind is 9 shades, $25. It's super warm, hot toned colors. And Dead of Nights is super cool toned colors. It's 12 shades, $40. On top of this, they're also releasing 7 satin liquid lipsticks. I'm not too crazy about Daily Grind, folks, but I love Dead of Night palette. I know there are some reviews online already, folks. I feel like I might pick this up. $40. Unearthly Cosmetics does have some things that I'm eyeing. I ordered and received the Unearthly Cosmetics' mystery bundle, which is, the video is available on my website. I'll link it up here. That mystery bundle had 3 palettes. One of them was red tones, one of them was green tones, one of them was purple tones. I wonder how many overlaps is going to be between the color in those palettes and the color in these 2 palettes, because some of the lavender shades I feel like I have in the other palette, and some of the red shades in the Daily Grind. If you own both, write to us below. Okay, friends, before I continue, I'm going to use a little bit of NYX's Glitter Primer right where the 2 colors meet, the purple and the blue, right here. I'm going to quickly tap this. And I'm gonna jump into my Glam Shop palette. This color is one of their turbo colors called Acrylic Ice. I'm going to quickly go into it and I'm gonna place it at the center where these two colors meet. And now I'm gonna go into this single called Moon Dust with a tiny brush, and I'm gonna put it in my inner corner just to lighten up the inner corner a little bit. These are absolutely gorgeous colors. I'm going to do a dedicated video on Glam Shop when I go back to the US. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. So P. Louise has a release coming up on November 18th at 3 p.m. CST. It seems like this is a two-sided palette that has 18 shades on each side. It's a full matte palette. I'm not at the moment in the market for rainbow palettes, so probably not for me, but if you're interested, I've heard good things about their quality. Okay, friends, I'm all done. I came a little closer to the camera so that you can see the eye look from a little bit closer. Also, there's some lighting issues, as I mentioned. There are a lot of palettes that you all requested over time for me to purchase. I'm going to read the list. I don't know if I can purchase all of these. Frankly, some of this I've heard is not available anymore. So, Glamlight Scooby-Doo, the Simply Posh palettes, Micka, Adept palette. By the way, the Simply Posh, now you can buy the bundle of both their jewel tones as well as the palette they released in August. Odin's Eyes holiday collection, frankly, I heard that is no longer available. Ace Beaute, the Ambiance palette, All Done Up palette, as well as Strange and Unusual, which I'm probably going to purchase. If you all are interested in any of these still, let me know. I'll try to figure out how I can purchase them and do a review. Otherwise, I don't know if they're any longer relevant. With that said, as always, thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is in the description box below. And you can tag me on Instagram on any makeup announcement that you want me to review in future to buy or not to buy videos. I love you all. Have a fantastic day, and until next time. Bye!